We were ready at quarterback. Alrighty. Welcome to what I'm guessing is episode 34 of the Retro Bar podcast. And today we are located in one of the rooms of the old Ephrata Railroad Station, home to Mainspring. And our guest, and the reason we're here, Joy Ashley, Executive Director of Mainspring. So, like we always do in the beginning, I'm going to let you sort of tell us about life before you were anything. Where did you go to school?
Life before I was anything. So I'm a local girl. I graduated from Cocalico.
Me too.
A long time ago.
Not as long as me.
And so I've lived a lot of different places across the country, but I've always considered this area my home. So I went to college in Tennessee. So I lived in Tennessee for 4 years.
I didn't know.
And moved to southern Florida, Fort Lauderdale for a little while. And at one point I lived for a year out in South Dakota on an Indian reservation.
Oh, really?
It was very cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, because it was something you wanted to do, or there was an underlying reason you did that? Or?
My spouse at the time was a school teacher, and they desperately were looking for school teachers on the Indian, to teach at an Indian school on the reservation. So that's how we kind of got recruited and moved out there. And we stayed there a year. It didn't really work out. But what it did do was it gave me a really good experience that was my first experience in abject poverty and alcoholism and just the social issues that plague the reservations. So I knew that I didn't want to stay working for corporate, for the rest of my life. And that's what really got me into nonprofit work. When we moved back to Lancaster County, and that was the late 90s, so I've lived in the borough of Ephrata ever since then.
What was your degree in? Was it teaching? Or?
It was English.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you started out teaching?
No, I started out working in a printing company, the local Tapsco.
That
doesn't exist anymore.
I remember.
Did my first wife work there when you worked there? She worked in proofreading.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, worked at Tapsco, worked at different places, and then moved to South Dakota, came back, went back into printing, but I didn't enjoy corporate. You get to this point that you want to work for something more meaningful and bigger.
Right. And fast forward 30 years, a lot of that has gone away with
printing is radically different.
Yeah, it was
Science Press and some of the bigger ones. One in Lancaster was at Donley, I think.
Donley and Lancaster Press, but I was glad to get out of that. But then getting into nonprofit work, I really enjoyed that. Doesn't pay as well, but
it
doesn't matter.
It
doesn't matter.
I have a stupid question about the Indian reservation.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just my own ignorance, but must them Indians stay on that reservation?
No.
So they could move anywhere?
They could, but that's their home.
Well, right. No.
But
they're not forced to stay there like they would have been
No.
in the 1800s or whatever.
Right.
Which would really suck if if that was a rule, that would really suck.
Right. No, it's a sovereign nation. The reservations are sovereign nations, and they have their own police force. And
now, do they? So they're not. They wouldn't necessarily then pay U.S. taxes, or like being a sovereign nation. Do they have their own rules, their own government?
They do have their own government.
Okay.
They have tribal council, and they do have their own policies, but they are under the purview of the federal government.
Oh.
So, like, if something happens, if a crime takes place on the reservation, that's their jurisdiction, and they take care of that unless it's a federal offense type thing. So, like if we pulled over for speeding or something, we would have to go to their police department and pay that.
Is there some sort of like at the edge of the reservation, is there something that divides that from what isn't reservation? Like, is
yeah, there's big signs.
Oh, okay.
You're entering the. I
I've
live
never
in
is
the.
that a Indian reservation?
It's, I
Not a
loved it.
16-foot gate.
But I guess you would have had it. Yeah, it's not like Area 51 or anything.
No, not at all. So in South Dakota, I lived on the Rosebud Reservation, which is very south central. And then you're driving along the highway and it'll say Rosebud. You are entering the Rosebud Reservation, and then you just.
And anybody can come and go from that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so there's
Yeah.
not,
Yeah.
it's not like you need a passport to get in.
No.
Okay. Well, I'm not being stupid.
No,
Well,
no.
I just am stupid.
So
I'm not
I
trying
worked-
to be stupid.
I worked at the bank there on the reservation, and like the person who was the bank manager was a white man, and we worked with Native American, we worked with white. It just was a mix.
Okay.
But it was a great way to get to know the community
Yeah.
because everybody used that bank. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Like, what was the population of that? Roughly, I mean, 2,000, 20,000?
Oh, it was less than, I don't remember, maybe around 2,000,
Okay.
give or take. Yeah.
Small community then.
Yeah.
Yeah, real spread out.
Yeah.
We had to drive 45 minutes to go to the grocery store. If we wanted to go see a movie or do anything, like we would consider we'd have to drive 3 hours to Rapid City.
Wow.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Different life.
Did a lot of shopping right over the border in Nebraska. But yeah, it was
Different
great.
than Cocalico and Ephrata area where, you
Yeah,
got,
yeah.
even
50
then,
grocery stores.
even then it wasn't quite as many, but you surely didn't have to go very far.
Right.
You didn't have as many grocery stores.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Conveniences, but you
Well, that's
still
very
had-
interesting. I
Yeah.
never knew that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's,
So it was a real education. I loved it, and yet it was, some parts of it were not good, scary.
well, I mean, other than the bank, like, is there industry? Like, if the Indian population, like, what do they do for money? Like,
Well, that's the unfortunate thing. Majority are unemployed, and they do receive Social Security or, government
Systems.
funding,
Yeah.
assistance. A lot of them were that. Some worked. You had like fast food restaurants, you had the bank, you had just like a normal town.
Right.
You had an Ace Hardware store and McDonald's and that kind of thing. So there was work, and the school district, and there was actually a university on the Rosebud. So some people worked at a little university. So, and you could be in the police force. So there was some opportunity there to work, but the majority of it was very depressed.
What Indian tribe was it?
It was, that's a good question. It's the Sioux Nation, but we didn't call them Sioux. It was Lakota.
Oh, well, yeah, actually, now that you say that
Yeah.
it was the proper.
And Rosebud is right next door to Pine Ridge. Pine Ridge is famous for Wounded Knee.
Okay.
So in this particular tribe of the Lakota, it was called Sichangu, the Sichangu Lakota. And the Sichangu, it stands for burnt thigh. That's what it means in that language.
Okay.
And that came from hundreds of years ago. There was a prairie fire, and it got into the village, and as they were running, they were being burned by the flames of the prairie fire. So that's how they got their name, burnt thigh.
Can you speak Indian?
No.
Like Native American?
I know one or two words.
Oh.
I used to know more, and I can't remember. I know wash day means good. Wash day.
Okay. Well, that would have been neat.
Tatanka.
It would have been neat if you would have been able to recite some stuff. in
No,
Indian.
no, sorry. So
You
we are at Mainspring.
Yeah, yeah,
So we got way off
Well, I
course.
told you there's really no rules, but we are here for a real reason. And I guess we'll start out, because it's happening today, before we even get into the Mainspring part, they are participating here in the Extra Give program. That's just a Lancaster County thing, or?
Yeah, so the Extraordinary Give, I believe this is the 11th year for it, and it is one 24-hour period of online giving. and it is set up specifically for Lancaster County-based nonprofits. So there's over 450 nonprofits that are participating this year, and Mainspring, of course, is one of them. But the donors are international. Anybody can get online, extragive.org, and donate. So
I actually, a friend of ours from Lidditz, she worked for the IU-13, and I don't know how she got involved, but she's a fundraiser for some other organization. So she didn't have any donations yet this morning, so I threw her some to give her some and get the ball rolling. But yeah, I mean, you feel bad because all these, I mean, unfortunately, none of us are billionaires, or it would be neat. But you try and help out, and you see all these. I mean, everybody. I mean, it's sort of a competition at this point.
Is. And
you feel bad because you know about a lot of these organizations. You just don't have the funding to do much about it.
I have a friend that works for Lancaster Dollars, and they're a nonprofit, and that they give interest-free loans to high school kids for college, and I don't know any of them that aren't good.
Right. All very good nonprofits, and they help the residents and services of Lancaster County. So I'm a big nonprofit fan, so I think the success of this county is built on the nonprofit agencies for sure. So
well, and I assume Mainspring is nonprofit.
Mainspring of Ephrata is an independent nonprofit charitable organization. Yeah.
Okay.
We partner very closely with the borough of Ephrata, the municipality, and they are a significant contributor for us. About a third of our income is a contribution from the borough, but it is a contribution that is not excised from a per capita tax. It's not from your tax dollars or my tax dollars. It is through the revenue generated from the solar field.
Okay.
Which we talked to the mayor about a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Now, before that solar field was there, well, Mainspring is pretty new, is it not?
In December next month, we celebrate our 5th year of being incorporated.
Okay. Yeah.
So Mainspring started with 3 agencies merging. There was Downtown Ephrata, Inc., which was really the Main Street organization. There was the Business Alliance, or formerly known as the Merchants, and then the Ephrata Economic Development Corporation, which gave us Hampton and Applebee's and the office complex up there at the top of the hill. All 3 of those organizations merged to create Mainspring.
Okay.
So,
which is good because you don't want them working against one another.
Right.
There was a lot of charitable things that they have done in the past that have benefited Ephrata, and to have it all together is so much smarter.
So there was a lot of not really understanding what the differences were between each organization. It caused a lot of confusion, I think, on the part of the community. And then when you throw the chamber in there, it's just, but the chamber is completely different. I mean, not completely, but they want economic and community development as well, but they are really northern Lancaster County focused, and Mainspring is Ephrata Borough focused. So
benefiting primarily the people of Ephrata. In surrounding areas.
And the businesses.
And I don't remember exactly, where each one of the entities got the money from, like the skate park and the BMX cross on the trail and the trail itself. I guess mainly came from state money, but I'm sure there's a lot of extras that needed to be done there.
So the skate park was a borough contribution, and it was decided to put it on in front of the Ephrata Public Library at the library property, and the reason is it's wide open. Prior to that, the skate park was kind of hidden under the bleachers and the pole and not a good thing. So here they could really spread out. It was very visible. The kids had a place to go, and it wasn't under the cover of darkness, and it wasn't quite so seedy.
But
that was a borough thing.
And more permanent now, because it's like, underneath or back behind the pool, they were put together ramps, metal ramps that they bolted together. Not really permanent, and I think they might have taken them down each year in the winter. I'm not quite sure, but it was gated off, so you could only use it certain hours. And the one at the library now is concrete, and they're more permanent. And you're right, it's 24 hours a day. There probably is rules of how long they can be there, but it's not in a lockdown area, and the library oversees.
And I'm surprised how many. Like, I get past there fairly often, and there's normally something going on there. I mean, it really, I mean, I know the population is much bigger than in the old days, but in the old days I could have pictured, okay, let's build this skate park, and for 3 weeks it gets used, and then nobody ever comes back. But no, it's used. I mean,
that was very good for the community.
Yeah, and needed to happen. When they shut down the original, and then the kids didn't have anything to do
except get into trouble.
Well, they came down here,
right?
And on patrol, that was a regular stop through here, and not to go after kids. It was more just to hang out with them, trying to keep it as a low roar because their vocabulary could get a little more interesting than maybe some people are used to when they're walking through downtown, which didn't suit very well. So it really didn't.
Remind me to talk to you about that some more.
Well, he can do that now because he's not on duty.
No, right?
So he can open cans.
I was part of that small group of people that helped create the park and was really pushing. Like, we need to. You want to help the kids? You can't get down here and yell at them and push them to different areas. They're going to gather.
Right.
It's guaranteed. They're going to go somewhere. When I was a kid in Ephrata, I had my places to go. That you're never going to stop it. Control where it is.
A mini golf course on the outskirts.
Yeah, mini golf course.
That's where
the cloister. Circles around
we
the
had
cloister.
Park.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
So that was a huge benefit for you guys to not control, but give them a place to go.
And then
where they can swear and they can do their kid stuff
without being monitored. And the bike park, you mentioned the pump track and the bike park, that is a Mainspring initiative. We raised money. My predecessor, Kelly Witham, that was a huge project. So that was super successful, and we paid for the regular maintenance of that pump track.
That's a neat track too.
Yeah.
That's
really neat. You got a dog park now too.
And it's going to open the dog park very, very
Oh,
soon.
I thought that was already open.
Well, there was a delay in supply chain. Of course, the fencing was delayed. So I think they're hoping to put the fencing in on the 23rd, and then
end of the month.
Hopefully we can,
have a grand opening, and I'm excited to see that too.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing that as big as Ephrata and Akron could calculate, there really is no dog park.
Right.
It's kind of odd.
Well,
now we chose to
stay at dog park. Like, I don't even understand. You can just take your dog out into a regular park. Like, I don't.
Well, they don't have the interaction.
You gotta.
Well, my dog isn't good with interaction.
Well, that's good.
But the dog can't run unless it's on a leash.
Right. So at this dog park, it's a free for all. Like,
yeah. Well. Yeah. It's called Ephrata Unleashed.
Yeah, we ought to make an adult park Ephrata Unleashed version of human.
Human park. I don't know if we want to introduce that.
Yeah, right.
So that was Denver actually has a dog park.
Oh, they do.
I didn't know that.
Okay.
That was an Eagle Scouts project to get that up and running.
Is that in the park itself?
It is.
Well, they also have a skate park in there.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know there was a dog park.
Yeah. Now that one's a little different in that you have to go to the borough office and get a
like a permit or something.
Yeah, you gotta be a membership, have a membership, and get one of those little tab things, and then go into the electronic fence to get it to use it. We opted the borough. This was a great thing because it was a community committee, and then the borough working together, and then they needed that 501c3 support in order to raise funds. So that's where Mainspring came in. And we wanted to use the park as an economic development tool, because when you think about visitors and tourists nowadays, so many people bring their dogs when we're traveling. And so if we wanted it to be open to the public so that if you're visiting Ephrata and your dog needs to, run and be free or whatever, use the park.
Yeah.
Use the park.
That's good. My wife and I have a saying, it's if we can't bring our dog Katie, we're not going.
And I say, if I have to take my dog, I ain't going. Now, do you see any chance of unwanted pregnancies at this dog park?
There are rules.
No fraternization.
So I don't know why that came into my mind,
Are you
but I just see
talking
this free for all.
dogs
Yeah, dog
getting
pregnancies.
pregnant
Yeah,
or
dogs getting pregnant that probably wouldn't have otherwise.
No, you really need to have your dog fixed.
But is that a rule of the dog park?
It's going to be a
Oh, it really? Honestly?
Yeah, they don't really want little children coming in with their dogs.
And witnessing that kind of thing.
Well, no, just unparented kids coming in. It has to be controlled. There's control on it.
Okay.
It's not really a free-for-all.
Okay.
There are rules. But, and the amazing thing about these dog parks is the owners police it.
Yeah.
If somebody is not controlling their dog and their dog is being a jerk or they're being a jerk, if there's another person there, it's peer pressure. They do really self-police.
Yeah.
So.
Wow, that's okay.
Yeah. So as many campgrounds we go to, and a lot of them do have dog parks. That same thing it monitors itself. It really does.
So.
Well, actually, in a way, trivia monitor. Like if somebody is looking at their phone, they're allowed to, but if somebody suspects they're looking up answers, they'll run to it. Well, they won't, but they'll let me know. And I never have the issue, but it is self-police.
Yeah.
It is.
So
now Mainspring is the goal of the mission of Mainspring is to revive downtown Ephrata. Is that
economic and community development growth? So we, for short, we say we want to grow economy and build community. And so any activity, any initiative that we have follows that mission. We have 3 core programs. We have a business development program. We have our community and events, which is probably what we're best known for, and physical development. So those 2, business development and physical development, that's the stuff that a lot of people don't understand or know that Mainspring does.
Well, because it's not an event.
Right, right. Events are very visible.
What is a physical?
Physical development is almost exactly what it sounds like. Anything that you can see, appearance, the facade of a building.
Okay.
If you have a really ugly building and it looks sad, you're not more likely to walk into that business and patronize that business. So facades, window treatments, window merchandising, if you're retail or even restaurant, that's very, very important. And that all speaks into economic development because we want to grow the business. We want our businesses to be profitable and successful because that grows the economy. And so you need to have that look. You really do. So that's physical development.
Is that where the veteran flags came in?
Oh, the banners,
Yes.
you mean? That's actually a VFW initiative.
Oh,
That's not a Mainspring one, but all those kinds of things help build a community.
Yeah.
Very much so. So we are glad that the VFW does that because that's very community building.
Yeah, very respectful,
Yeah. The other thing about physical development, we want a safe, clean, and green downtown and borough. So, you're walking, you think about the alleys that are along Main Street that go back, and a lot of the alleys go back to public parking. And a lot of people are like, you don't have enough parking in downtown Ephrata. Actually, we do.
Oh, there's a lot of
It's
parking.
just, people don't realize it. It's hard to get to, or if I park there and I want to walk to Main Street, that alley looks a little scary. So I'm not really keen on parking in the Locust Street parking lot or something because I don't want to have to walk through a scary alley. So we want to work on things like physical appearance. We want to add lighting to that alley. We want to make it green and pretty. And where you have lighting, you have less crime.
Yeah.
So we're all about that. We want to create a safe Main Street. So just we're exploring traffic calming measures, things to slow the traffic down so you don't have to take your life into your hands if you want to cross Main Street. And make it just a little bit slower, a little quieter, a little safer to park on, all that kind of thing. And there's tools that we can use to accomplish that. So that's like physical development. Business development primarily is recruiting and retaining the businesses that we have. And we really want to start with the business district, the central corridor, because if we can grow the economy downtown right here on Main Street and get that stabilized and sustainable, then our economy starts to grow. And then the ripple effect of that, we're going to feel that in our neighborhoods, and we're going to feel that in our developments outside of the dense part of the borough. So we want to, our 5-year strategy till 2027 is really to grow downtown business corridor and get that successful.
Yeah, like Denise and Bob and their kids doing the effort of the Mainspring.
That was huge.
The movie theater. That is huge. I mean, for that to be shut down for the last couple of years is definitely not a benefit.
So another aspect of business development is historic preservation. So the Harders were like, man, that historic theater, it's beautiful, and it's meant so much to the town for 75 years. So them taking that on has been a huge benefit to us. And I really encourage people to patronize the theater. Go see the movies. Go hold an event. There's a lot going on. They have a lot of great stuff planned. But we complain as residents of the borough, there's nothing to do downtown, and it's boring, and there's no place to go, and there's no place. Here we have a lot of wonderful assets. We have Poor Man's expanding their business to the Sprecher building, another historic place. We have the theater. We have a restaurant moving into the Lily space. We already have three super great microbreweries. We have a super successful rail trail and a bike park and a skate park and a wonderful community pool and the rec center. Think about all the assets that we do have. And then if you lived anywhere else in this country, and I guess that's the benefit of me not living in Ephrata my whole life.
Right. You got to see what
other towns do.
Where you do have to drive 45 minutes to get groceries.
Yeah.
Where here you can walk a couple blocks and do just about anything you'd ever want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a great town, and that's the other thing we're focused on is bringing our pride back, because if you ever lived anywhere else, you know Ephrata is a relatively low crime rate. We have petty crime, but as far as felonies and major crime, we don't have that. Once, So we are a safe town. We have the community issues like every other small town in the country has. But I just feel like if we work together, the social services, Mainspring, the municipality, if we work together and to a common solution to manage our problems, and they're not really problems, I would call them challenges, we have a great town. So.
Yeah, I want to give presentations in school. And the kids would laugh at me when I said, I grew up in Ephrata, and I would never have to leave Ephrata because it has everything you possibly could need. Including the Taco Bell, which kids love the Taco Bell. Like, what else do you need? You got Walmart, Taco Bell, you got all these it's why would you ever need it? And he just laughed. He's like, we grew up here, and this is not where we want to be. Not all of them, but some of them.
Well, and they say that now. And then they'll leave, and then they'll come back.
A lot of them do.
So the events then.
So We have, my head is spinning for the next, till the end of the year because of all the events that are happening. And it's great. And we actually are having, started this campaign, I want to say June, July, make Ephrata your holiday destination. Ephrata, spend your holidays in Ephrata because literally starting Black Friday, there's something going on every single weekend until the very end of the year, till January 1st. And it's so much going on that I had to print it out because I didn't want to forget anything or those dates. So can I just...
You can do whatever you want to do.
Do whatever I want to do.
And this is the upcoming stuff.
Yeah.
Not even counting all
Today's
the stuff
extra gift.
Well, and the stuff you've done already.
Right.
Because we've experienced, we've been to the events that you had through here with all the trucks and the music, the parties
and the Brew Fest, which is a great shared event with the library and the rec center. We have happy hours over the summer months on Wednesdays. You know, always like to have music playing. And really, our Whistle Stop Plaza, it is a public park. It's part of the park system of the borough. But we like to, what we call a third place. And a third place is not your home, not the place you work, but the place you hang out, the place you go with other people. So we want this to be a social place. We want this to be a place that provides education for people. We want this to be a place that we can come as a community and mourn people. A couple of weeks ago, we held a vigil for the student that passed at the high school. So,
and that wasn't the first one. There was one for the student that died up on the mountain going 322, and there was a vigil here for him also.
Yes. Ephrata Cares, that that group that the mayor has put together for the opioid crisis.
Yes.
Ephrata Cares held a vigil here. So it's a great place, and we want to encourage people to consider this their place to gather.
Yeah. So over the summer you had a whole bunch of events.
Yeah.
And now you have a whole bunch more coming.
Yeah, and these are not even all our events. We want to promote everybody, in the borough and what's happening, because Ephrata, we need to film a Hallmark movie here because Ephrata is awesome in the holidays. So the tree lighting and Santa's arrival happens Black Friday, November 25th, and it starts at 5 p.m. And then we have the very next day is a holiday market that takes place on the plaza, and that starts at 10 a.m. And that's just like, what is it, vendors, you come shop. But that's also Small Business Saturday. So we really encourage people to, shop at the plaza and then take a walk up and down Main Street and patronize our local businesses. Then the Jingle Bell Trolley Tour, that's Friday and Saturday, December 9th and 10th. Hop the trolley and you go around and you see beautifully decorated homes for Christmas, and it's just a lot of fun. The Friday night is the family night. The kids will go to Ephrata Church of the Brethren and have some hot chocolate and cookies and make a craft. And then Saturday is the adult night. And that's exactly what it sounds like. It's a lot of fun. But then the historic Ephrata Cloister does some beautiful events for the holidays. They have their candlelight open house, and that is actually the 26th of November, this month. And then Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer Jr. is the Christmas performance at EPAC, and that's Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays starting December 2nd through the 18th. So you can go see a show. Woodcrest Retreat has Journey to Bethlehem, which is like a live nativity and just a bunch of different things that you follow along a trail. And that is December 9th and 16th. So check that out. Then back to the Ephrata Cloisters, Christmas at the Cloister on the 12th and 13th. If you're not familiar with the historic Ephrata Cloister, it is a beautiful historic property with the original buildings from 1732 when Conrad Weissel came and founded this religious order.
And you can always, just to plug us,
Yeah.
you can always watch our episode with
It
Elizabeth.
might be like episode 16 or
Yeah,
something,
something
but
like that.
Elizabeth
She was putting up
from
the
the cloister,
Yeah.
there
And
is
she did a
a
great
whole
job
podcast
explaining
on the
history.
cloister.
Yeah, great history there to me.
And it's absolutely beautiful. The lantern tours are again at the Ephrata Cloister, and that's December 27th through the 30th. And then we also have a very popular train exhibit from the Short Line Railroad Club, and that has been going on for many, many years. And that runs, I believe that started now already this month, and it runs through January 15th, I want to say. And that is just very, very cool. It's huge.
Yeah.
And then the big thing, real big, really, really big, is the Ephrata Unexpected New Year's Eve celebration. For the first time ever, Ephrata will be putting on a New Year's Eve celebration. And this is going to have fireworks. We're going to have the confetti. We're going to have dancing in the streets. Steel Radiance is the band that's going to be
they're
playing.
very good. They're very
From
good.
9:30 to just before midnight. And we are raffling off a huge 65-inch flat screen smart TV. It's in this room. That's why I'm pointing. So if you want to purchase your raffle tickets and purchase your chance to win a huge, beautiful flat screen television, please come to the office here, the Mainspring office, or check us out on mainspringofephrata.org, Holidays in Ephrata, and you will see more information about that.
When does Santa come here?
Santa is at the tree lighting event next Friday night, Black Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the only day he's here then.
Oh, he will be in, his house will be here at the Visitor Center. We have it already all decorated, and Santa will be here on the weekends, Saturdays and Sundays, up until December 18th, I believe.
I think that's when Black Friday, when he comes, is the official "Here Comes Santa."
Yes,
Here comes Santa.
He's going to come off of the roof of the bank building, and then
they still do. I thought they weren't going to bring him off.
I think it was.
We have a new fire truck now, and a new bucket truck, and so he will be.
So now So the truck was the issue. The old truck was.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the issue is. That predates me.
So the New Year's Eve deal.
Yeah.
What are we dropping?
That is a secret.
Yeah, we had asked the mayor, and
but
the mayor didn't know either.
But you do know. I mean, there is a
We do know.
You've chosen something at this point.
It is chosen.
Okay. All right.
It is being built.
Oh. So it's not a living creature. It's not a living creature.
No, it's not.
I was going to volunteer to
I was
get
going to say you
lowered.
volunteer.
I was going to get lowered.
Well, actually, we're not doing the lowering because of our size and just the way our Main Street. We're going to actually do a raising.
Oh, well, that's
a crane will be raising
the
thing, the
Whatever
item.
that is.
And
So would you be Father Time or would you be the baby?
I'd probably have to be father.
But we're going to have the beer garden. The Whistle Stop Plaza will be cordoned off, and then you can buy your cup of cheer. The Woodcrest Audio is installing a large stage with the roof and 2 video walls and all the lighting.
Are they
and
shutting
sound.
Main Street down?
Yep. Main Street and the first block of North and South State Street will be shut down.
Wow. That is big time.
Sorry.
So that's all right. My phone ain't turned off either.
We're very, very excited. We want everybody to come because it is the first time. I have to thank, did I already thank GCM Built? They're a construction company out of Mount Joy. They are a lead sponsor for this. I have to thank Rosenberger N.A. I have to thank the Windsor Group and Kleinfelter Group, and just for all the sponsors who are making this brand new event possible. So,
It should be fun.
Yeah,
It will be fun.
that sounds really cool.
yeah. So come as you are. If you're, it only starts at 9:30. It's going to be cold. It's going to be dark, but it's going to be festive. So come as you are. If you're already in your pajamas, just come on down. It doesn't matter. We just want a celebration and dancing in the streets.
Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah. And so just to plug that, are all these events on one website?
Yes.
So including the cloister and everything like put together. So if I go to this website, I can kind of see exactly what's going on instead of bouncing all over the place.
So mainspringephrata.org, that'll take you to our homepage, and at the top, very top of that homepage, you'll see Holidays in Ephrata.
Okay.
And you click on that, and that gives you a rundown. This is actually a printout of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can click on each one for more details.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Very good.
Yes.
Yeah, that's very user friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
So it's a phenomenal place to be.
Yeah, there's so much history here that I really enjoy hearing everything that's going on and in the past. And
and that, in its day, I mean, Ephrata had how many hotels on Main Street? Back in the day, until they all, every hotel in them old days seemed to burn down sooner or later. But yeah, I mean, it was a very and I think back in those days, the whole key to any little town was the railroad station.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't have a reason for a train to stop here or the ability to stop here, your town probably didn't grow real fast.
Right.
But and here we are in that
in the
exact building.
Right.
They'll remodel, but
from the 1880s. Yeah.
Yeah, that's neat. And like the mayor had said, which I didn't realize, that when the hotel was operating at the top of the hill, all the buildings were built back a bit so that they could walk out onto the street and have a straight line of sight down to see if the train is here or not.
Right.
It's one of the things that nothing against the Hampton or Applebee's, but I wish we could have did something. It just,
I think
so.
I think they waited too long. Like it sat and sat and sat and sat.
Yeah, there was no saving it. But that was just such a great history.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. I had mentioned historic preservation. We really are prioritizing in the next 5 years historic preservation of downtown. Currently, there is no building on Main Street that is preserved. So we are pursuing preservation easements on our buildings, which essentially means you write a contract, for lack of a better word, and you put funding into a preservation easement safety fund. Should a property owner 20 years from now come in, for example, and purchase a Sprecher building, and that property owner has no idea of the history, is not from around here in any way, and just sees that elevator as a nuisance, we want to put an easement on that elevator to protect it so that can't just be ripped out.
Yeah.
So I feel like that needs to be done to a lot of our buildings. We need to be putting these easements on the buildings. And that builds economy, believe it or not. So when Poor Man's moves into the Sprecher building, the customer coming in will not only have, and I say this all the time, they're not only going to be drinking an award-winning beer, they're going to be doing it in this historic place with all this ambiance and this environment of this atmosphere of history. And so we're creating an experience.
Yeah.
And this is what tourists want. Visitors want to escape their normal life, and they want to come to a quaint small town and enjoy the history of that place. And how many people who grew up here and left, and now they came back and they have their children with them, and I remember riding that elevator. I can't tell you how many people have said that to us.
I remember.
So let's take that history and that heritage and leverage it and make some money from it and build the economy from it. So, and we can do that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But when we go to Royal City Brewery in Reamstown, we enjoy talking about the old time, and like, what was this at one point, and what was on the second floor? I mean, how many times do we ask questions of them about the history of that building?
Yeah. And then I found a picture
of one building.
Right.
I mean, now we got all.
Yeah. So you yourself you've only been in this position a year, maybe?
December 1st will be a year.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I remember when you had your interview with Bob and you were scared.
You
thought he was a
remember
mean
that?
guy. Oh yeah, you thought he was a mean guy.
No.
Well, maybe not mean, intimidating. Bob can appear a little intimidating, but he's really not. And you did fine.
Bob Thompson.
No, Bob Harder.
Oh, Bob.
Because
yes.
actually,
That's true.
and I just put a little plug for Bob, but really, you're the executive director, but you're not the be-all and end-all of Mainspring. There is you answer to the board of directors, is that
Right.
correct? Yeah,
Right.
yeah. It's not like you
nonprofit,
own the business. You're in charge, but
Yeah.
not totally.
So there's a bunch of volunteers that help create everything.
So
There's a lot of
our
work to
board
do.
of directors, we restructured in February, and the board really is more of a governing board. And so, yes, I primarily answer to them. That's my boss, is the board. But I'm blessed with a great board. They allow me to do my job,
Well, and that's
based
important.
on,
If you're going to be a helicopter board, then what's the point of paying you to do your job?
Right.
So
they're very creative people, and they care about Ephrata, and they're all in, for common cause type thing. And so we're blessed with a great board. We're blessed with wonderful volunteers to help put on these events. It's a staff of 3, 2 full-time, Lisa Wilworth, our administrator, and myself. And then we subcontract a marketing consultant, Christine, and she takes care of our marketing for us because we're just getting so big and busy. 2 people can't do it all.
Yeah.
So, but we have a lot on the docket for the next 5 years. It's attainable, but there's no time to waste. So we're very focused on our goals, and so we really encourage people to get involved. We need help. We need volunteers to join committees to help get the work done. So.
Okay, there you go.
And we're lucky to have you guys. You and the board and everybody, because I've in the history of Ephrata, I don't remember ever having the amount of activities that you have down here in the last year. It's
Well,
been
and those activities, not only do they provide entertainment, but it's also a way of Mainspring earning a little bit of money. It's for fun, but it's also, so don't be afraid to come out to an event, because not only are you probably going to have at least half decent time, but you're going to benefit Mainspring, which in turn will benefit you again sometime.
I come to the events and I'll see people that I haven't seen since the last event, which is neat. It's like, you're catching up with, and the different breweries and the different food that you have down here. It's like, well, I haven't been to their place, but here's their truck. Let's try it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's really neat. And it's busy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like you come down here and there's 3 people just walking around.
No.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, you might see somebody you haven't seen, but there's also, at them whistle stop things in the summer, there is a boatload of people that I'm not even sure where they come. Like, I don't know any of them, but they're probably very local. They probably walk here, a lot of them.
Yeah.
But it gives them something to do that they can walk to, because not everybody has a car or the ability to drive or
doesn't want to
for whatever reason. But there is a lot of people that they live in Ephrata, but I don't know where they came from. Which is neat.
Yeah.
It's really cool because you got the rail trail here, so you have people from Lidditz that I've seen, like, we know there's an event going on in Ephrata, so we're gonna jump on the trail and we're gonna ride bike to Ephrata, check it out, and what a benefit that is.
Yeah.
So now you're introducing more people from out of the area.
That's the idea, definitely.
So that's a big
and that poor man's right next door isn't gonna hurt either.
That's
We're
great.
very
I've
excited.
heard a lot of people talk about that.
Yeah.
Very good.
And we need more of that, definitely.
Yeah.
Small steps, huh?
Yeah.
Small steps.
Alrighty, well, do you have any parting words of wisdom or advertising? Like, where do you see, in a perfect world, 10 years from now, what do you see on Main Street? Like, if all your dreams could be answered.
Okay, well, I'll probably get some, I don't know if everybody dreams this,
No, this
but
is you.
this is what we're
You're
pursuing.
our guest.
Okay.
They can come on this show too.
Yeah.
So we have 3 primary goals in the next 5 years. So number 1, I want to create Ephrata to be a recreational destination. And we're halfway there. We have that rail trail, just like all that stuff I was talking about earlier as far as recreation and athletics. And we are in a unique position where our rail trail dumps right out into the middle of downtown central business corridor.
Yeah.
Not a lot of rail trails do that. So we have that benefit. Well, we have a huge amount of green space in this borough. And we also have what we call the Ephrata Mountain. And I would love, in my perfect world, that Ephrata Mountain, it's 202 acres of public wooded land to be developed into hiking trails and biking trails. The tallest part of that mountain is 812 feet in elevation. I'd love to have an observation tower built so you can climb it and look all over, sort of like a Gettysburg thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'd love for those trails to come down Main Street and connect with the rail trail. So when people come here, they ride the mountain, but they're coming off the rail trail, and you get this pattern, traffic bicycle pattern going. Because if you all converge downtown, that lends itself to businesses opening up that speak into recreation. A gear shop, you break your bike on the mountain, you're going to want to get it fixed right away.
Right, yeah.
So we open a gear shop. We open an outfitter business that sells hiking gear and biking gear and swimming and running and anything, because we have become a recreation destination. So when you open those kinds of complementary businesses, that's building the economy and it's building a stable, sustainable business industry.
Right.
So that's number 1. Number 2, I want to brand Ephrata as the place to be. So historic preservation, facade improvements, it's people wanting to come here, tourists, visitors, wanting to come here to spend time in our B&Bs and our hotels and shop the main street, experience the rail trail, experience the history that we have. I want to create itineraries, visitor itineraries. How about a girls' weekend? We have all these salons on Main Street. Pamper yourself, stay at the local historic Smithton Inn, the B&B, and just enjoy the winery, weathered vineyards, have a beverage, and just make it a girls' weekend. How about we do something special for Halloween? And we have beautiful cemeteries. We have the historic cloister doing cemetery walks.
But we can dress up.
Oh, I love Halloween, and I love the cemetery. Lancaster City used to do that, and that was really cool.
So, but that can be an itinerary. You can have something just for a long weekend, just certain subjects like that, certain things like that. So, brand Ephrata is a place to be. And then we can market our historic downtown. Along 222, you see, visit historic downtown Ephrata, like you see in other towns across the state. So then the third thing is to create a safe, clean, and green environment and increase our residential housing. We have buildings, anchor buildings that are undeveloped right now, right along the rail trail. And how about we develop that into some kind of housing? I personally, you asked me what I dream of, I personally would love it to be active senior housing, not necessarily retirement community housing, but active seniors who, want that urban lifestyle, but in a small town setting. The active senior population is the largest growing population in this country. These are folks that are retired but still very healthy. They want to be engaged in their community. They want to travel. They want to be active. Hey, we can get a great volunteer base from folks like that, from that group. So let's make a home for them where they want to live downtown and then have, all these retail, shopping, food, whatever at their fingertips. So those are my dreams.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, you're right. The mountain is untapped, and we used to patrol the mountain to make sure nothing weird was going on up there, and it is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
It is amazing, and you just get experience of the views on the mountain. On an evening shift that was like a party night. Okay, I would sit up at the Hampton at the very edge of the parking lot, and you can see pretty much everything going on in downtown Ephrata. So if something was happening, I could see it immediately, what's going on over there. Not that we had a lot of problems, because there wasn't, but it was just a neat area to watch to make sure everything is good.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that. And if people wonder, why we're asking for fundraising, why we ask for funds, where we need the funds, it's to put toward projects like that. A land study, just to do like a stormwater study or a forestry study, that starts at like $25,000.
Yeah.
And we can't get everything from grants. We just need people to, I always say this too, I'm like a broken record. I feel like economic development is a hard sell, primarily because I'm trying to sell people a vision, like the Ephrata Mountain, that doesn't exist yet.
Right.
It's not a tangible thing. It's not like an event that you put money toward and you have instant return on your investment that night, and then the next day you know exactly where your money went.
Right.
This is like a journey. It's a long reward. And so we really need people to see that vision, feel that vision as well, and join us on the journey and be willing to, travel with us. So that's why it's kind of a hard sell. The other reason is never ends. We always have something to improve, always working to grow the economy. So.
Yeah, well, you've done a very good job so far. Like I said, the amount of activity we've had that have brought people downtown were fantastic.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All righty. I guess that'll be it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks a lot, Joy.
Wow.
And
Well,
we're going to turn this off.
The event is going out there today until...
Yes,
well,
please get
2
some.
out here, but
Get
extra
some
give till
lunch.
midnight, right?
Extra give till midnight.
There you go.